Hello everyone, Kalive here, and welcome back to Ark Survival Ascended, Scorched Earth. So, in the previous episodes, we pretty much accomplished everything that we wanted to accomplish. So in this episode, we're going to do the final step for Scorched Earth, which will be to ascend off with Alpha. And in order to do that, we need to go and fight the Alpha Manticore, which I still need to get a couple of more things for that, but I'm pretty close to being done with it. I think just a couple of more poison claws and we should be fine. So with that said, I did clean up everything, so all the dinos are put away. This place will be uninhabited for a little while. And what I'll probably do in this episode as well is show you the steps on how to go back and forth between different worlds, which it does vary depending on whether you're doing single player or whether you're doing servers, and whether those servers are in a cluster. There's different steps depending on which category you fall under. But I'll show you how to do that in any step regardless. And even if you have multiple characters, you can still do this. I think multiple characters actually makes it a little bit easier. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and do the Alpha Manticore, and then we're going to go through the whole Ascension video, and I'll explain that for people that have not seen that or played the original version of Ark. So I'll kind of go through what that means for the next map. I do have my dragons on me. These are all the lightning wyverns. These are the Gen 3 lightning wyverns. I finally finished these. It did take a little bit of time, and all these have roughly 600+ % of melee, and they're still around 10k health. The health isn't as important as the damage, because with the Alpha Manticore, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does have a lot more health, and so you want to burn it down as fast as possible. So really for these things, the damage is going to be the most important factor. But most of these are roughly around 600%, and so we're going to see how these fare against the Alpha Manticore a little bit later. But I do want to talk about moving between worlds. So I do have one server, and it is running both the island and Scorched Earth. And if we go to a drop, or if we go to one of the obelisks, we can see these options of inventory and creatures. So I can upload my creature into the list here, and this will let me take my creature and send it to a different server. I can upload this creature, and if I didn't have another character on the island, I could travel to another server. I click this, you can see that I have another server, which is the island, and I can actually go there and join that server with this character if my other character wasn't there. But since I do have my other character there, I can take my wyvern here and I can upload it. So we can just creatures, upload this wyvern, and click the upload button. Anything that was in your wyvern's inventory will be gone, so you want to definitely check that. So I don't want to lose my other wyverns, so I'm going to keep those on me. And I can now go onto that server with my other character and actually download this wyvern, because the characters don't matter. It's the ID of your account that matters. So because I have two different characters on two different maps, they will all see this wyvern. If I had three different characters on three different maps, they could all see this creature because this is the creature that I've uploaded with one of my characters. So that's one step, and this is similar to how it works on single player. Single player, you can only have one world up at one time, so you're going to be spending time uploading creatures, or if you go to the inventory screen, you can actually upload inventory and items. There's a timer on these things. The default timer is 24 hours, so if you don't pull these out of this upload creature thing within 24 hours, then you're not going to be able to access those anymore. Those are going to be gone. You can change these timers. If you're in single player, you can probably change these timers to like a year or whatever. Even if you're managing your own servers, you can also change this timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my other character on the island, and I'll show you what it looks like from that perspective. Alright, here we are on the island, and this is the character that I first created for the series. So we do have the arrows we uploaded, and we also have our fire wyvern that we uploaded. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go grab those. So let's go ahead and, do I have, yeah I do, okay. Let's go ahead and grab the wyvern. If you see anything on here that's not been caught up with the videos that I've posted, so if you see anything that's further along, don't worry about it. We'll get to that eventually on the island series. But I don't see any drops here, so I'm gonna have to actually go to the obelisk. So I'll go do that. I'll go to the obelisk, and then we will meet up there. All right, here we are at the red obelisk. So we're still on the island, and we now are able to go to the creature section here, and you can see that we can upload our Argentavis if we wanted to. And we can also download this fire wyvern. And even though this thing was uploaded with our other character, so the other character being Caliente, we can still download it on Kalive here, on a different map. So if we click on this, there we go, we now have a wyvern, and it is tied to me now because I'm the one that downloaded it. So it's a part of our tribe. And it even says that it was raised by my other character. So we do get our imprint bonus still, which is pretty nice. That's because it's the same ID. So as long as we raised it with the character ID of our account, or character that tied to our account, we are able to still use this wyvern. And so this is what you would do once they open up server transfers between servers. You will now be able to do this, and I think that's gonna be pretty soon. And if you're watching this in the future, then just know that in the first 2 months of them releasing Scorched Earth, they stopped server transfers, so you weren't able to transfer anything between Scorched Earth and the island map, the first 2 maps. And I'm assuming that's gonna be the same thing with future maps, where you won't be able to transfer dinos between the island and the extinction map, for instance. So once that extinction map opens up, you won't be able to transfer dinos back and forth between those for the first 2 months. So that's my assumption. That is what they've done so far. So with that said, so I am now able to ride this thing. I do have my imprint bonus, and having a wyvern on the island map is kind of broken because you can definitely destroy a lot of stuff. It makes meat farming a lot easier. It actually makes thatch farming a lot easier. So this is kind of the main appeal to me with Ark in general, is that you can go to different maps, get different unique dinosaurs, and bring them back to different maps, and then you can utilize them and their specialties in different ways. So I will probably keep this one here, because once we ascend my other character, Caliente, off of Scorched Earth, I will then be able to travel back to Scorched Earth. So I will be doing that in the future on the island playthrough, but I just wanted to show you how this whole thing works. And once again, if you are using single player, then you just need to upload a dinosaur. So upload one of your dinosaurs, add it to the uploaded tameless creatures list, and then switch to that server with your character, and then you can actually download that dinosaur from that previous map. On single player, instead of travel to another server, there is an option to, I think it's upload or download survivor. So you will be able to move between servers by doing that. The other way is to go through the whole ascension process and beat the game. So there are multiple ways you can move around with single player. If you do that, I would recommend clearing out your inventory and clearing out your bar. So get rid of all this stuff. Maybe you probably want to upload it to inventory here, so you can put different things in the inventory and it'll be available for you to download wherever you move to. But you don't want to have anything inside of your inventory whenever you are moving, because you will drop your inventory wherever you last stand. And also make sure you don't have any shoulder pets on you, because your shoulder pets will not follow you. They will drop wherever you traveled from to the next server. I've made that mistake many times and lost many pets doing that. But yeah, so that is the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the other map, and this dinosaur right here, this wyvern fusion, will not be available on the other map anymore. So it's going to be officially on this map, on my island playthrough from now on. Alright, we are back on Scorched Earth, and this is still my character, Caliente, level 103. So we are now going to head over to the green obelisk. I'm going to try to set everything up. Is that another scorpion? That is another scorpion. As soon as you get rid of all your dinos, things start respawning over here. Yeah, like your dinos block wild spawns. So yeah, I'll go set this up, but I do want to point out a couple of things first about transferring between servers. You definitely want to make sure that you don't have anything on you, because you will drop everything. So upload everything into the inventory so that you can move it between server and server. Once again, you can only transfer things in between a server cluster. So like you can't go from NA server cluster to EU server cluster. It doesn't work that way. You can only transfer within like the NA server cluster or just the EU server cluster or anything that's designated a specific cluster. Same thing goes for PvE and PvP. Those are also two separate clusters. So NA PvE is a separate cluster from NA PvP. And then other different types of servers like small tribes is separate from other PvP servers. And you also want to be careful that you don't move dinos over with saddles, because you will lose your saddles as well. So I didn't have a saddle on the wyvern because the wyverns don't use saddles, but if you have like a Rex with a really good saddle and you upload that Rex, it's going to drop the saddle on the ground. What you need to do is you need to take the saddle off, upload it into the inventory to transfer between servers, and then upload the dinosaur in the server transfer screen as well. So those are things you just need to keep in mind whenever you are transferring stuff between servers. But yeah, that's going to be it for server transfers and that whole system, and I hope that helps you out with understanding that process. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head on over to the green obelisk and get set up for the alpha boss, and then we will ascend off that. Hopefully that works out for us. I do need to get my food buffs, and I also need to get my other food and some water. So yeah, I'll get ready and I'll meet you over there at the green obelisk. Alright, we are back, and this is all the wyverns that we have. I'm going to be riding on this one, which is Photon 2. It's got the green colored wings here, so that's the unique one. Look, it has more stamina, and so it's a stamina mutation. I do want to turn off group whistles, change to ignore group whistles on that one, so that when I do have them aggro, I can just hop on this one, because I highly doubt I'll be able to get to this one right away. A few reminders: you want to make sure that you're tracking your wyvern so you can actually find it. And as you can see, like, these things are fairly well stacked. It's gonna be hard getting into this actual spot here. Hopefully I can make it into here. But yeah, these are very well stacked. I actually threw out more than I needed, so I threw out 23 or 24 of them. Because I found that if some of them fall out of bounds, like this one right here, falls out of bounds, you can stack some on top of them like this, and it makes it easier to get more in there that you need. So if you're really struggling trying to get all your wyverns in, tend to throw out like a few more extra so that you can actually get into the arena with the wyverns that you want to bring. So let's go ahead and try to get into this mess here. Like you see, there's like a bunch of them stacked right here. Just need to find a good spot to get in. Alright, made it to the middle. I had to army crawl through a little gap, but we did make it. So we'll make sure we have everything on us. Eat our food, put our mask on. We have some water, so I think we're good there. This will be a little bit longer of a fight, so we definitely make sure we have everything that we need. There's everything that we have acquired. So we do have the option to turn on the alpha portal for the Manticore. And once again, it does require a survival level of 95. So that's a pretty high requirement, but not too bad. We do have our mask with us. We need to put that on immediately. Make sure you're tracking your dragon. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, and while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and try to get to my wyvern. I highly doubt I get to that point. I'll just get on one of these and then I'll hop off. Here we go. Alright. Let's fire off, get them going. Let's try to get off these. Oh no, that's a long drop. Oof. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna put my mask on so I don't die from poison. And yeah, they're firing off more now, at least. I'm gonna spend the time and try to keep the other things away from the group. But yeah, looks like they're doing pretty good damage already. 20% away. Oh, it's not even popping up. It's funny. It's just stuck there. Yeah, you sit here and just watch the show, really. Gather these guys below me. This is doing pretty good damage. 482 damage per attack. Here it goes. I'm gonna kind of move out the way here. He's at like 25%. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well. I don't think we're gonna lose any of the wyverns that we brought in, so that's kind of nice. I'm gonna drag these guys back to over here. This is your last time. You definitely want to grab up all of the different notes in this room. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. So you might want to go find those. You should have pictures of them somewhere on the internet. Here we go. You're dead, right? Yeah, he's dead. Okay. Once again, get the element and put it on your dragon. You're not going to be able to use or bring it with you, so you can't transfer elements. We got a lot of elements. Wow, we got quite a bit of element. Turn that off. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through the full Ascension this time. So we're going to see the whole thing. And I'll just throw everything on this. Even my other clothes too. I'll come back for this guy. Oh, I brought my stuff that I didn't want to bring too. Alright, so we're going to go through the Ascension and we're going to see what that whole thing looks like.
You continue to impress, Survivor. As you have grown in strength, I have been searching Helena's memories, finding what I have forgotten all these long years. Her friends, and the journeys they had. Was it all for nothing? No. It had to be done, so that one day you could exist. Together, you and I, we can put this right. You must travel onwards, Survivor, for your greatest trials are still to come.
Alright, we are back at the base. So I did clean up all of the dragons over there. I still need to go over there and take care of a couple things. So we wound up getting 600, roughly, 688 of the elements from killing all 3 bosses. And that fight wasn't too terrible. The dragons were not that much damaged. Look at them real quick. Yeah, you can see that not a whole lot of damage from these things. I think most of them were definitely above 50%. So at least you now know what to expect from the boss fight. You don't need these tremendously bred wyverns to take on the boss. The wyverns do make it a lot easier, and the method of stacking more than you need definitely helped out. I think I wound up having 4 left out. So 4, and I believe I had 23 total wyverns. So I had 19 in the boss fight, which definitely sped that up quite a bit. So if I were to suggest anything, I would recommend that you go ahead and try to bring more dragons than you actually need. And that should help you compact them in the middle enough to where you would actually get quite a few of them in the boss fight. I think that helps a lot. So yeah, that definitely was a good way to handle that fight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prepare this place for my other character. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and just stack everything in these boxes. So I'll break everything down, put it in the boxes, and I'm not going to break everything down. I'm going to probably leave just like the junk, like probably a bunch of stone and stuff I can get back pretty quickly. Stone, fiber, thatch, those are all things I can get back pretty quickly. But the important things are going to be in this box right here. So these are very hard to get things, like these recipes and blueprints. I did break down like all the machines, the big machines, so I can put those back out eventually. So yeah, so now that you have beaten this map, you might be thinking like, what are the next steps? What can I do to prepare for the next map that comes out? Which would be, I guess, the center, but then the next canon map would be Aberration. The center, I don't know how they're going to handle the center, so I can't really comment on how things are going to be. They may just let you transfer all your dinos to the center. If that's the case, then you don't need anything but Rexes for the center. So having some good bred Rexes would be beneficial to farm up the bosses on that map, which is only 2 of them. And they're together. That is the Megapithecus and the Broodmother. And they're very undertuned versions, unless they happen to just really buff them. They're very easy to take care of. They don't take a whole lot to actually kill them. And you can actually split them up too, and we'll talk about that once we get to that map. But the center map doesn't require much to farm up that. If you already have Rexes from the island map, those Rexes will definitely work for the center map, since the bosses are pretty much the same. And after that, it's going to be Aberration. Aberration, there isn't really much preparation you can do for Aberration. Aberration's a very unique map in the fact that there are aberrant creatures with different stats than you've seen on previous maps. So you're going to want to get the aberrant creatures on Aberration, which can only be found on that map. So there's not really much prep work you can do for Aberration. But if you did want to prepare for a map in the future, I would say the map that you could prepare for would be the extinction map, and the only thing you probably could do for that is breeding high level RGs or some Quetzals, or even breeding some Gigas, because Gigas are going to be very important on that map, or Karchars, either one, or actually you probably want to do Gigas and Karchars, to be fair. So those are the ones you can probably focus on if you really want to spend the time in between the different maps. But yeah, like I said, Aberration, you're going to be using the Aberrant Megalosauruses. You're not going to be using anything else besides those. And then you're going to have Rock Drakes. So all those things are found on that map. But yeah, that's going to be it for this series. There isn't really anything else that we can do. Except before, I'm going to break this place down and stick it in those boxes out there. And I'm going to get this prepared for my other character. But yeah, now that I have access to this map and the island, that's kind of what you do within Ark, is you would travel between those maps and utilize the strengths and benefits of each map. But yeah, for the most part, that's going to be it for this map. So we did do everything that we set out to do on this map, and we got the dinosaurs that we wanted. I can come back here and grab other dinosaurs if I need to, and I'll show everything else in the island map. So for now, we'll go back to the island and then finish that one up, and then we will wait for the next one to come out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.